Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand at the threshold of an urgent moment. The skies above us are not merely clouds. They are a moving force, a storm front of unprecedented magnitude, advancing faster than any forecast could have anticipated. This is a call for awareness, preparedness, and decisive action. Weather, in all its unpredictable power, reminds us that nature is neither patient nor partial. It does not negotiate or delay, it moves according to its own rhythm, unbound by human expectations. In these critical hours, we are reminded of our fragility. Communities can be disrupted, infrastructure tested, and lives endangered in ways that can happen suddenly, without warning. The storm approaching is more than a meteorological event. It is a challenge to our readiness, our resilience, and our capacity to act swiftly. Every second counts. Every decision matters. Families must secure themselves, neighborhoods must coordinate, and local authorities must enact safety protocols with precision. Yet, within this threat lies an opportunity for unity and strength. When facing the raw power of nature, we discover what it means to protect, to prepare, and to persevere. Communication becomes our lifeline, planning becomes our shield, and compassion becomes our guide. Those who heed the warnings, who move with purpose rather than panic, will navigate these hours with greater safety and security. This storm front is fast, relentless, and indifferent to our comfort. But humanity has its own force, the force of awareness, preparedness, and collective action. Let us not underestimate the gravity of this moment. Let us respond with clarity, with focus, and with unwavering attention to the signs around us. 0 hour is upon us. The storm is advancing, but so too is our responsibility to act, to protect, and to survive. Let this be a reminder. The faster the threat approaches, the stronger our unity and readiness must be. We cannot control the storm, but we can control how we respond to it. And in that response lies the power to preserve life, protect communities, and weather the storm together. Urgency of the situation. A massive storm front is approaching faster than predicted, emphasizing the immediate need for awareness and action. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. A massive storm front is moving faster than anyone could have anticipated, defying predictions and timelines that once seemed reliable. When we speak of storms, we often consider them as distant events, something that affects others or will happen tomorrow. But this storm is here, approaching with a speed that demands our immediate attention and action. There is no time for delay, no luxury of hesitation. Each passing moment carries with it the potential for risk, disruption, and danger. The atmosphere above us is charged, restless, and in motion, a reminder that nature does not bend to our schedules or expectations. It moves with a force that is impartial and unyielding, indifferent to human plans or wishes. This storm front, though a natural occurrence, is a call to consciousness, a signal that we must be present, alert, and ready to act. Ignoring its approach is not an option. Its velocity transforms what might have been a manageable situation into a pressing reality that demands preparation. The faster it moves, the narrower the window for action, and the more critical it becomes to respond with clarity and purpose. Awareness of this urgency is the first step toward survival. It is the recognition that our usual routines, our sense of security, and our assumptions about predictability are being challenged. The storm reminds us that control is an illusion. What we can control is our preparation and our ability to respond. In these moments, awareness is not just knowledge, it is protection. Understanding the speed and magnitude of the approaching storm allows us to make decisions that can safeguard lives, communities, and property. It compels us to communicate, to organize, and to act with determination. Each individual, each family, and each neighborhood carries a responsibility that cannot be postponed. The urgency is not fear, it is clarity. It is the sober recognition that time is short, that action is required, and that preparation is no longer optional. The faster the storm moves, the more decisive we must be. We cannot wait for perfect conditions or complete certainty. We must act with the information we have, with the awareness that hesitation can carry consequences far greater than any discomfort or inconvenience we might face. This is a moment where the natural world reminds us of its power, where the raw forces of weather intersect with human life in a way that demands vigilance, respect, and responsiveness. The urgency is absolute, and in that urgency lies an opportunity, a chance to rise to the occasion, to meet the storm with readiness, and to turn awareness into action. Every second counts, and the faster the storm moves, the stronger our resolve must be to face it head-on. Human vulnerability. The storm highlights the fragility of communities, infrastructure, and lives, showing how quickly nature can disrupt normalcy. Human vulnerability becomes starkly visible when nature asserts its power, as it does with the storm approaching at a pace faster than predicted. In our daily lives, we often carry a sense of security, built upon routines, structures, and expectations that we assume will protect us from sudden threats. We think of homes as safe havens, roads as reliable pathways, and communities as buffers against danger. Yet the advancing storm exposes the fragility of these assumptions. The infrastructure that we take for granted, power lines, bridges, roads, and buildings, can be tested to their limits in moments. What seemed sturdy can falter under the force of wind and rain. What seemed predictable can crumble in the face of speed and intensity. This vulnerability is not a reflection of negligence, but a reminder that human constructs, no matter how sophisticated, are subject to the raw forces of nature. Lives can be disrupted instantly. Families may face isolation, loss of utilities, or even physical danger. Communities can be cut off, leaving individuals to confront the elements with limited resources. The storm does not discriminate. It moves according to its own rules, and those who underestimate its strength do so at their peril. Yet, within this vulnerability lies a crucial lesson. Awareness is empowerment. Recognizing how exposed we are allows us to take meaningful steps to mitigate risk. It compels us to check our surroundings, to secure homes, to prepare emergency supplies, and to consider the safety of those who may not be able to act on their own. Vulnerability does not equate to helplessness. It is a call to action, a signal that preparation is necessary and that community support is invaluable. When we accept that we are vulnerable, we can transform fear into prudence, hesitation into planning, and uncertainty into decisive measures that protect life. The storm's speed and intensity magnify this vulnerability, underscoring that no moment should be wasted. Every precaution taken, every warning heeded, every resource mobilized contributes to resilience. Human vulnerability, though undeniable, is also the reason we act with purpose, coordinate with neighbors, and extend care to those around us. It is the lens through which urgency becomes tangible, through which preparation becomes meaningful, and through which survival is possible. The approaching storm is not only a test of physical structures, but a test of our ability to respond intelligently, decisively, and with compassion. It reminds us that life is delicate, that circumstances can change in minutes, and that readiness is the bridge between vulnerability and safety. In acknowledging our limits, we gain the power to protect what matters most. Human vulnerability, revealed in the face of this relentless storm, becomes a guiding principle. To respect the forces beyond our control, to act with foresight, and to preserve life through awareness, preparation, and solidarity. Importance of preparedness. Swift and decisive action, including securing homes, coordinating neighborhoods, and following safety protocols, is critical for survival. Preparedness is the lifeline that separates chaos from safety, particularly when faced with a storm moving faster than anticipated. The approaching front is a stark reminder that nature does not wait for convenience, nor does it adhere to human schedules. Every precaution, every plan, and every moment of forethought becomes a shield against the potential devastation. Preparedness begins with awareness, but it does not end there. It requires deliberate action, foresight, and the willingness to face reality without delay. Homes must be secured, windows and doors reinforced, loose objects removed, and emergency supplies gathered. Each measure is more than a task. It is an investment in protection, a commitment to the safety of oneself, family members, and neighbors. Communities that prepare collectively fare far better than those that rely solely on individual efforts. Coordination becomes essential. Sharing information about risks, checking in on vulnerable members, and ensuring that evacuation routes are clear and accessible. Preparedness transforms uncertainty into structured action. When the storm accelerates unexpectedly, those who have prepared are not scrambling, they are acting with purpose and clarity. The difference between being caught off guard and navigating the storm safely is preparation. It allows individuals to respond quickly and confidently, reducing panic and minimizing the chance of injury or loss. Preparedness also extends beyond physical safety. It includes mental readiness, understanding the situation, anticipating disruptions, and visualizing responses equip people to make sound decisions under pressure. Knowledge of weather alerts, local emergency protocols, and potential hazards is as critical as securing property. Even the smallest steps, charging devices, having flashlights ready, and storing essential documents, can make an immense difference. In times of rapid change, preparation provides stability, a foundation upon which decisive action can be built. Those who have acted in advance gain not only practical safety, but also a sense of control amidst chaos. Conversely, lack of preparation amplifies vulnerability, leaving individuals and communities exposed to unnecessary risk. The approaching storm underscores that waiting for perfect conditions or complete certainty is a dangerous gamble. Preparation must be proactive, not reactive, because the speed of nature leaves no margin for hesitation. The commitment to readiness is a reflection of responsibility for oneself, for loved ones, and for the wider community. It is a tangible expression of foresight, discipline, and care. The approaching storm may be beyond our control, but preparedness is within it. It allows us to confront the force of nature with strategy rather than fear, with clarity rather than confusion, and with resilience rather than despair. Each action taken in preparation reinforces safety, strengthens resolve, and ensures that when the storm strikes, we are not merely surviving. We are responding with intelligence, courage, and foresight. Preparedness transforms uncertainty into opportunity, vulnerability into resilience, and the threat of the storm into a test of human wisdom and readiness. Strength through unity. In the face of natural threats, human resilience, cooperation, communication, and compassion become vital tools to protect and support each other. Strength through unity becomes most apparent when the forces of nature challenge us beyond individual capacity. A storm approaching faster than expected is not merely a test of structures or preparations. It is a test of how people come together, how communities respond, and how collective action can turn vulnerability into resilience. No one can face a storm of such magnitude entirely alone. It is in cooperation and mutual support that true strength emerges. When families communicate clearly, when neighbors check on one another, when local authorities coordinate with emergency teams, the chaotic power of the storm is met with an equally powerful human response. Unity amplifies the effectiveness of preparedness. Resources are shared, warnings are disseminated quickly, and those at greatest risk receive help when it is needed most. In moments of urgency, simple acts of solidarity, helping someone secure their home, guiding the elderly to safety, or sharing critical information, become lifelines. Beyond the physical assistance, unity fosters psychological resilience. Facing a fast-moving storm can be terrifying, but knowing that others are acting, helping, and standing together provides a sense of security and confidence. It reminds people that they are not alone in confronting danger, that survival is not merely a personal endeavor but a shared responsibility. Strong communities emerge when individuals recognize that collective well-being is inseparable from personal well-being. Coordination and preparation, communication during the storm, and assistance in recovery all rely on this principle of unity. It is the invisible thread that binds disparate actions into a coherent response. Even in the face of uncertainty and fear, human solidarity can mitigate the worst outcomes. When the storm tests infrastructure, individuals, and routines, unity tests the human spirit. It challenges us to rise above isolation and self-interest, to extend care and vigilance toward those who cannot act alone. Those who embrace collaboration not only protect themselves but enhance the safety of everyone around them. A storm does not recognize boundaries or distinctions, and in the same way, effective unity transcends social, economic, or geographic divisions. It transforms scattered efforts into a synchronized response that can withstand the storm's speed and intensity. The approaching storm serves as a reminder that while preparation equips us with tools and resources, unity equips us with resilience, determination, and the ability to respond with strength far greater than any one person could muster. When people come together in shared purpose, the power of human cooperation becomes evident, capable of countering even the relentless force of nature. Strength through unity is not merely a strategy, it is a principle, a guiding force that ensures that when the storm passes, communities endure, recover, and emerge stronger. It is through this shared courage and collaboration that we transform vulnerability into security and chaos into coordinated action. In facing the storm together, humanity demonstrates its most profound capacity to rise collectively in the face of adversity. Responsibility and response. While the storm itself is uncontrollable, our response, planning, vigilance, and collective action determines the outcome and the safety of communities. Responsibility and response are the defining elements that determine how we face the approaching storm. While the forces of nature are beyond human control, our ability to act with purpose, clarity, and decisiveness is entirely within our grasp. The storm, moving faster than anticipated, places a weight of obligation upon each individual, each family, and each community. Responsibility begins with awareness, recognizing that this is not a distant event, but an immediate threat that requires action. It demands that we accept the reality of the situation without denial or delay. Waiting or assuming that the storm will pass without consequence is a choice that carries risk far greater than any inconvenience incurred by preparation. Responsibility extends beyond the self. It includes the care of others, neighbors, the elderly, children, and those who may lack the resources or knowledge to protect themselves. A true sense of responsibility transforms passive observation into active engagement. It motivates us to communicate, coordinate, and take preventive steps that safeguard life and property. Response is the tangible manifestation of this responsibility. It is the execution of plans, the activation of preparedness measures, and the alignment of actions with the urgency of the moment. Response is not merely reactive, it is deliberate, informed, and strategic. The speed of the storm underscores the necessity of immediate action. Hesitation, indecision, or half measures can result in consequences that are easily avoidable. The choices made in these moments define outcomes: who remains safe, who faces unnecessary danger, and who can mitigate loss. Responsibility and response also encompass adaptation. Storms are unpredictable, and situations can evolve rapidly. Being responsible means anticipating changes, adjusting plans as conditions shift, and remaining vigilant until the threat has fully passed. It is an ongoing commitment, not a one-time effort. Every warning followed, every evacuation route considered, every emergency supply secured is part of the broader pattern of responsible response. Communities that embrace this principle of shared responsibility create a web of safety that strengthens each individual. When people act with awareness, when they coordinate their actions, and when they take responsibility seriously, they multiply the effectiveness of every precaution. The storm may be relentless, but the human capacity to respond is formidable when guided by responsibility. In the final analysis, responsibility and response are inseparable from resilience. They transform fear into action, vulnerability into preparedness, and chaos into coordinated effort. They remind us that while we cannot halt the storm, we can determine how we confront it. They give meaning to vigilance, purpose to preparation, and structure to urgency. Each action taken responsibly is a lifeline. Each deliberate response reinforces survival. The storm approaching faster than predicted is a test of nature, but it is also a test of human character. Responsibility and response define how we meet that test, how we protect lives, and how we preserve communities. Through awareness, decisive action, and accountability, we turn the inevitability of the storm into an opportunity to demonstrate courage, foresight, and the enduring power of human agency.